The Mavericks get clobbered at home by Jamal Murray and the Denver Nuggets. We'll try to make sense of it all. Coming up next here on the Dlls Mavs postgame show. Hey, what's up, DLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks analyst Bobby Krella. We, of course, are DLS Mavs. Really appreciate you joining us here on the post-game show. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports, at Bobby Krella. We'll be joined by our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. You can find him on X at The Steinline, and our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato. The Denver Nuggets sweep the 2-game mini-series with the Dallas Mavericks. They win tonight, 118-99. Jamal Murray with 32 first-half points paces the Denver Nuggets. He had 45 in total. Nikola Jokic, got his triple-double on the night as well. Kyrie Irving, in his return after missing 4 games with a back injury in tonight's game, only had 11 points in 30 minutes of play on 4 of 18 shooting. We really appreciate all of you joining us here on DLS Sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel while you are here. You can find our podcast wherever you get your podcast for free. Bobby, it was just a good old-fashioned ass-whooping tonight at the American Airlines Center as Jamal Murray put his stamp on this game very early on. The Nuggets led this game by as many as 31 points, and unfortunately, the Mavericks lost their starting center with 8 minutes left in the first quarter due to a right ankle sprain. I'm referring, of course, to Dereck Lively II. Just a gruesome night, as our title card says, at the AAC.
Yeah, Kyrie looked really rusty. The good news is he was like moving okay. You know, it didn't look like he was avoiding any sort of kind of movements or avoiding contact or anything like that. So at least he looked physically okay. But the touch wasn't there. I mean, he was missing. He was 4 of 18. So, I mean, it's a pretty bad game for him. Lively going down 4 minutes into the game is a massive bummer. Landed on Jokic's foot, I think.
That's right.
Yeah. Yep. So hopefully he won't be out for too long. But again, you're 7'2" and you're landing on someone else's foot. That's a lot of weight, a lot of size. Landed on a complex series of muscles. Who knows? It's like,
I mean, dude, I would imagine
it's every game. Yeah. Every game, someone is getting hurt.
Yeah.
Every game, something bad is happening. You know, it's like Murphy's Law playing out right now. Like I need a break. I need a break from basketball. I need a break from all of you people. No offense to, I love every chatter and all my coworkers at DLS Sports, but I just need a break from reality because I can't do it anymore. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. The reality of the situation is that it sucks right now, just to be completely 100. I mean, you're right. You get Kyrie Irving back after missing 4 games with the back injury. Then Dereck Lively goes down, with the ankle sprain, just 4 minutes, into the game. And I would imagine, of course, with the Mavericks on the first night of a back-to-back, they play the Pelicans tomorrow on the road.
Oh, God.
That Dereck Lively, I would imagine, just safely speaking, would probably not be available for tomorrow's
Imagine
game.
how cool it would be if they didn't have a game until like Monday or something. Nope. Right back at it tomorrow.
Yeah, right back at it tomorrow. And they'll be playing a Pelicans team. They got to win tonight over Chicago. Zion Williamson and back, of course. He's playing pretty well for them early on. But the Mavericks, unfortunately, fall to 22-18 on the season. Nuggets improved to 24-15 on the year. In fact, they are now 13-5 in their last 18 games, so they are playing extremely well. And the Dallas Mavericks now fall to 3-7 in their last 10 overall. And the story of tonight's game, Bobby, Jamal Murray made it a point to go out there and dominate this game from jump, and he got a variety of shots, fantastic shot making, whether it's from the three-point line, getting into the mid-range, getting to the cup. There was nothing that Jamal Murray couldn't do tonight, or nothing that the Mavericks wouldn't allow him not to do tonight in terms of the shots that he was making.
Yeah, to understand why Murray had such a good game is to kind of understand the Mavs defense at large as a whole. This is a team that really could use a solid point of attack defender, but you're gonna set a screen to get that guy off the man anyway. So it doesn't matter if they had some superstar defender out there. Nuggets were setting a lot of screens, and Murray was turning the corner. Now, ordinarily, a lot of more like basic NBA players or guys that play at one speed, they go where the ball goes. So like you can defend the man and you can defend the ball, and it's like the same thing. But Murray is a lot like Luka in that there's a lot of fakes, there's a lot of hesitations, there's a lot of herky-jerkiness.
And they were falling for all of it.
Yeah, head fakes, pump fakes, ball fakes, just all that stuff. And the Mavs defense in general bites on everything. That's just kind of what they do. And part of that is a strength. Like you make someone pump fake out of an open three into a sidestep three, that's a lower percentage shot. But they were biting on every single thing that Murray was doing no matter where he was on the floor. So he was pump faking out of 19-footers into layups. Out of turnarounds into finger rolls, out of open threes into layups, transition, PJ jumping out at him for no reason, and then he goes all the way to the rim and lays it in when he's already got like 40 points. You're like, dude, like you really have to understand what's going on. So, when they're biting on all those fakes and stuff, Murray's really capitalizing. He's one of the kind of players that you can't just defend the ball or the man. You have to defend both. So you can't bite on every single thing that he's doing with his body because the ball is staying still. Like you have to defend the whole thing. You can't just, oh my God, he's going here, I'm going to do this. Because he's going to chain together 3 or 4 of those things,
sure.
And you're going to look like a clown, and it's just, he was on a heater tonight, and the whole weakness that he has right now is his knee is bothering him, and he can't handle ball pressure. And the Mavs were pressuring the ball until he made a single move, and then they would bite on that move, and all of a sudden now there's no pressure, and he can step right into a mid-range jumper or right into a three or right into a floater or right into a layup. They were doing the right thing until the moment of truth every time, and they just could not help themselves. Just in my opinion, kind of a lack of discipline. In my opinion, mark of a tired team, mentally and physically. You're just going to start reaching, and you're just going to start getting desperate. And I think that's what this team is right now. They're really tired. They're really exhausted. Everything is very fragile right now. Players' health, players' lungs, players' everything. And we saw all of that play out in real time as DeAndre Jordan just dunked again.
Oh, boy. And we'll get to some of that throughout the course of the show, too, because I thought at times, and look, these are athletes getting paid millions of dollars to play a game. Let's keep it in perspective here. I thought at times some of the effort was just bad. The execution was poor on both ends of the floor. But at times, Aaron Gordon at one point missed his own bucket and got 2 offensive rebounds off his own miss. Like the effort and the desire at times was much higher for the Denver Nuggets than it was for the Dallas Mavericks. All you need to know, especially as we look at the first half, particularly in the first quarter, Jamal Murray had 15 of the Nuggets' first 27 points. Nikola Jokic didn't take a shot attempt for the first 10 minutes of the first quarter. That is how much Jamal Murray was dominating. He finished with 19 points in that first quarter. Kind of a role reversal from what was the first game on Sunday where the Mavericks led 32-17 at the end of one. It was the Nuggets at the end of one who led 36-21, and they were the ones that they were the aggressors to start the game. They started the game on a 19-6 run in the first 6 minutes of the ball game, and they put the pedal to the metal early on, and Jamal Murray was the one setting the tone for them, and Nikola Jokic could be the facilitator that he is fantastically capable of being, and he didn't have to do much work in terms of shot attempts because other guys were able to be fed off of what he was doing, and Jamal Murray was leading that way for them.
Yeah, Murray's further along in his recovery. He said he got some, I forget what he said in the postgame interview. We were watching the TNT broadcast with sound. He said something about how he got some shots or something.
Some pain injections, yeah.
Yeah. And, he's further along in his kind of return to high-level basketball than Kyrie. And we saw that tonight. This game kind of turned into a battle of those two guards. They were the only two players on either team that took more than 11 shots. So they were really trying to go back and forth. Murray was 18 of 26. Kyrie was 4 for 18. There's your difference in the. I mean, that's more than your difference in the game. Murray had 45. Kyrie had 11. But also, it's at one step further. So they were doubling Jokic, and the Nuggets were getting threes out of that, or they were now overreacting after another guy gambled on Murray and leaving a guy open in the corner. The Nuggets were 13 of 29 from three in this game. The Mavs, going back to the mid-third quarter of the first game, they started 11 of 17 from three in that game. Since then, in the remaining 5+ quarters that they played, they are 10 of 49 from three. So their jumper abandoned them, and in the first half of this game, they were 9 of 27 in the paint. So they couldn't make a jumper, and they also couldn't make layups. And, I mean, it's just going to happen. Their offense looked terrible. Kyrie was, Kyrie was trying to find a little bit of a rhythm, and the offense was sluggish without him. So now you're introducing a guy that's going to take a lot of shots to trying to find something. And, oh, by the way, your starting five is out. And, oh, by the way, it means now you got to play Maxey at the 5 or Dwight at the 5, which is like not what you want to do with either of those guys right now. And it's just so I can't fault them for being lousy on offense, but the thing that's going to bother me from this game is how they approach defending Murray.
And when you look at some of the numbers from this game, a really strange statistic coming out of this game, Jamal Murray, of course, had the 45 points. He was the only player in this game to score more than 13 points. He was the leading scorer for both teams, but no one scored more than 13. Michael Porter had 13 for Denver, and the high man for the Dallas Mavericks tonight actually was Daniel Gafford. He had 13 points in this game, but was still a -6. But, yeah, no other player scored more than 13 points as Jamal Murray had the 45.
Yeah, and John says, John in the chat says, this team is having problems barely cracking 100, even though y'all talk defense all the time. That is true, but this would have been, a week and a half ago or whatever, that Memphis postgame. I said, I don't expect them to get to 100 points, like, ever. Like, my expectations for the offense are very, very low. So whenever I say I'm not really disappointed in the offense, it means that them scoring 100 is about what I expect. Their offense is not good enough right now to score. They're just not, so they have to win. I said on that show, you have to be able to win 104-99 or 101-92. Like, you're not going to be able to win games 125-120. So, that's what made the last game such a bummer, is because they had such a great defensive half and they were making shots, and then everything that's just turned on its head. And then tonight felt like an extension of that fourth quarter.
It did, yeah. And the Mavericks, of course, in that first game were outscored 45-15 in the finals, near 17 minutes of that game on Sunday. Real quick point before we take our first break here. You made a point that was very interesting. I think it's starting to play itself out, is the amount of energy that this team has had to expend without its superstar and Luka Doncic, without Kyrie Irving for the last 4 games. I think you're starting to see it catch up with them, with the amount of minutes that guys have been having to play to try to win these games. They ran out of gas after they had built that 19-point lead on Sunday. They came out lethargic tonight in terms of their energy. Denver was the team that was much more aggressive and much more lively, getting up and down the floor, no pun intended. But at the same time, I think that's what we're starting to see, is the toll that the missing of your stars is taking on these guys. And on the second night of a back-to-back tomorrow, how this team comes out with their energy level is going to be something that we have to pay attention to, given what they have dealt with tonight and what they had to deal with on Sunday as well.
Yeah, the cycle goes like this. So whenever your best players are out and everybody has to do more, this is the cycle. And we've seen it play out over the last 2 weeks. It's kind of been cool to see, but it's not always pretty. The cycle goes, oh my God, what are we going to do? To, well, I guess we got to try and figure it out, and it's going to look bad. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. We might actually be kind of good. And then it's, oh my God, look, I'm so free. We're all so free. We can get our games off. This is awesome. And then it's like, whoa, it takes way more energy to dribble the ball 500 times in a game as opposed to 100, and to make 30 decisions instead of 15, and to play 36 minutes instead of 20. And then now you're like, oh my God, we're just playing another really good team, and I'm gassed, and I'm out of ideas, and the scattering report's caught up. It happens very quickly. That's part of what makes what players like Luka and Kyrie do and Jokic do so freaking incredible, because they usually never run out of gas. They just do this all the time. Yeah. They do it all the time. And, It reminds me what former Mavs assistant coach Mike Procopio once said, which is there's only whatever the stat was. There's only like 70 guys that take more than 10 shots a game. If you're going to be an NBA player, odds are you are not going to take more than 10 shots a game. So you better be good at things other than shooting. Well, times come along where you do have to take more than 10 shots, and we're kind of seeing why those guys don't take more than 10 shots.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Them's the breaks, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it goes. So you have to find other ways to be effective.
Let's take our first break here on the Dlls Mavs post-game show. When we come back, we'll be joined by our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato, live from the American Airlines Center, to get his thoughts and perspective on tonight's game between the Mavericks and the Nuggets. All that coming up next year on the Dlls Mavs post-game show.
Well, Kevin, I at least got my Jokic less than. He didn't get to 52 points plus rebounds plus assists tonight because he didn't have to play enough minutes. Kyrie was trying to get me 20. He took 18 shots, but he ended up with only 11. And then Spencer Dinwiddie, well, he did his best, but I wasn't good enough either. So this is now a 3-game losing streak for you, boy, on Sleeper. I will not be deterred. I'll be back next game.
Oh, so you're doing your best Mavs impression right now. I got it.
Oh, no.
Jeez.
No. The great thing about Sleeper, though, is that the more you play, the more you can win with their multiplier all the way up to 100 times your initial deposit. And so I'm still up on the year. It's just hard right now, but the light is on at the end of the tunnel. If you think you have what it takes, new users can download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLSMAVS to get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. Doesn't have to be your first. It could be any contest. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Operational in over 25 states, including Texas. Check out Sleeper today.
We are almost to the end of the college football season with the national title game on Monday between The Ohio State and, of course, Notre Dame. Who will win that game? We will find out on Monday. But after the national championship game is over, you got to go to the East-West Shrine Bowl deep in the heart of Texas on January 30th at AT&T Stadium, the 100th edition of the East-West Shrine Bowl, America's oldest college football all-star game, being held right here in Texas. Since 1925, the game has benefited Shriners Children's and its mission to provide innovative pediatric specialty care to improve and transform the lives of children. See some of the nation's top college football players in this head-to-head competition ahead of the NFL draft, including Shadir Sanders, who was at the game tonight between the Denver Nuggets and the Dallas Mavericks.
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
What does it mean?
It means that you need to go to the East-West Shrine Bowl, which has served as a starting point for many noteworthy NFL careers, including 80 members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and more than 200 members of the College Football Hall of Fame as well. Tickets start at just $20 and use code DLLS when purchasing 2 or more tickets to receive 50% off. Visit shrinebowl.com to buy your tickets today. Mavericks get clobbered at home by the Denver Nuggets 118-99 as the Mavericks unfortunately now fall to 3-7 in their last 10 games. Now about to go on the second night of a back-to-back tomorrow night when they take on the New Orleans Pelicans on the road. Now we welcome in our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato. You can find him on X at Tim_Cato as he joins us live from the American Airlines Center after what was, Tim, a very disappointing night in a number of ways, including Dereck Lively II going down with the right ankle sprain just 4 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah, Jason Kidd said it was an ankle sprain. He's likely to miss a game, expected to miss tomorrow's game. Ankle sprains, I mean, you can sometimes bounce back quickly from that. We saw that with Daniel Gafford. It wouldn't surprise me if he's available Friday or Monday, but yeah, very unlikely he plays tomorrow's game, just based off the sheer logistics of it, that the team is, probably not, playing in less than 24 hours, less than 20 hours, basically at this point. So yeah, definitely a bummer. But what Jason Kidd had to say is pretty much what Bobby said. So I don't know if you're in the locker room, Bobby, but he said, Jason Kidd kind of starts sometimes by half saying what he means, and then he gets to it later if there's a question that kind of points him back in that direction a little bit. So he said, energy and effort was low. It started off with generic, your typical coach cliches, and true. He said it was a game that they don't typically have, and I do think that's correct. But as the press conference went on, he basically got to the point that he thinks the team let off a little bit because Kyrie was back. And because Kyrie was back in there, all of a sudden there's just an easing of expectations from a lot of the role players that, Kyrie's going to come in and carry them. And Jason Kidd's point was basically, you can't, you still have to play as a team. You can't get a star back and then just assume everything's going to be fine. You don't have to try as hard, especially when Luka's still out, especially when Dereck Lively exits so early in the game. So it was a lot like what you said, Bobby, on that first segment. I heard a little bit of it. Just because Kyrie's back, usually he's going to have a much better game than this. But the effort overall was not up to even Kyrie's return. Everything that the team was doing well over the past week to win games, to be competitive in games, that still has to carry over. And Jason Kidd, in his opinion, seemed to think that it really didn't, and that Kyrie's return just allowed too many players to kind of ease off the gas a little bit.
I guess in some ways for me that's kind of disappointing to hear because, one of the things that Jason Kidd has emphasized over the last, few days here is the guys have still got to play at the type of level regardless of who is in or out of the lineup. And again, I guess some of this is human nature when you get one of your stars back to maybe ease off the gas. But Jason Kidd had said the other day, like guys like Quentin Grimes, Jaden Hardy, and others have got to stay playing at the level even when Luka and Kyrie return because they have to assimilate into what these guys are doing instead of the other way around. And for that to be the case tonight is kind of disappointing because this is a message that he has been preaching to them before Kyrie's return. So it's interesting to hear him say that tonight, given the fact that Kyrie did make his return in tonight's game.
Yeah. I mean, I thought there was a lot of disappointing performances throughout the team. I thought the defense, the half-court defense was not nearly there. Dallas really did a great job defending Jamal Murray, and just nobody could do it. Nobody could do it in this game. There's a balance. There's some sort of middle ground between a guy who's on a heater and still making it difficult for him. And I think Jamal Murray would have had a good game no matter what, but Dallas made it too easy for him, especially early on. He really got going, and then off he goes for a season high, just his second game with 30 points this entire season. So that really stood out to me.
There was a lot of layups and a lot of open threes, so I thought it was super cool. Tim, there's a lot of there's a lot of concern in the chat about Lively, about how he continues to miss games and stuff, and I do want to offer my own insight, which is it doesn't matter who your athletic trainer is. If you step on someone else's foot, you're going to sprain your ankle. That's just how it goes. But Tim, during the game, you also posted a tweet about whether or not he's injury prone or whatever. So I just wanted to give you the floor for that to elaborate.
Yeah, he's played 108 games out of the 144 possible. That's 75%. So 3 out of every 4, that's lower than you would like from a player you rely on and a player who has become as important as he has. But if that's injury prone, I think that's like the highest threshold possible. 75% of your games. That's like the highest threshold that you could even begin to describe somebody as injury prone. With that said, I just think it's so premature. He's a 7'1" player who has not yet turned 20. One thing that we know about big, tall athletes who come into the NBA is that early on, they're often injury prone. Now, some of them stay injury prone. Some of them, it's just a recurring thing throughout their careers. Some of them, many of them, figure it out. A lot of situations Lively has gotten himself into have been directly caused by players and contact around him. Some of them, there's nothing he could do. He got, mollywopped by Rudy Gobert in the playoffs. That is going to cost anybody a game or so. But there's other,
by the way. That's good.
Great. It's a great word that we need to bring back a little bit more.
Agreed.
But there's been other instances where, yes, he is getting himself into situations where he's receiving contact, stepping on feet. You have to remember, this guy's been 7'1" for like 2 or 3 years, 3 or 4 years. Like, he has not been his height for most of his adult life. I think that for me, I have such a period of grace for players that tall and that young that there's still, even as athletic as he is, as mobile as he is, as much as that is the reason that he's so impactful for this team, I still think that there's still some level of learning his body, learning how to avoid these situations that he's going to be working through throughout this season, next season, just as he grows up a few more years. And I think that's an okay and normal thing. So I guess my point is twofold. First, this is pretty typical. This is pretty normal, as you would expect of a young big man, a young, tall big man who is athletic. They're going to get hurt a little bit. You're very lucky to see a player who doesn't go through, some mild knocks and injuries. But also, I do think it's a little overstated how much he has missed time. And I think most pertinent to that is the fact that he missed one game during their entire postseason run, played 21 of 22. It was the aforementioned run-in with Gobert that caused him, and a situation that truly anybody wasn't going to be able to bounce back from in a game. So, he's played 32 of 40 games this season. Sure, he went out early in this one, but 32 of 40 is 80%, playing 4 of 5. Again, yes, I think everybody wants Dereck Lively because he is so important to be playing, as often as possible, and ideally like 90% of the games. But I just think that 80% this season, basically the entire postseason run, he is trending upwards. If you look, especially if this ends up being a, 1-game absence, maybe a 2-game absence with an ankle sprain, he is actually trending up from where he was his rookie season in terms of availability. Yes, it's something to watch, but I think it's just so much more amplified because of its importance to this team, because Daniel Gafford has at times struggled to really step into that role, or sometimes even kind of step into the backup role. I think some of his absences is just really amplified because Dallas doesn't have another player like him.
And to compound it, the frequency of injuries for this team this year. I mean, I think that's also some of the angst among Mavericks fans, is the injuries that not only he's been dealing with, but illness, injury to multiple players, illness to multiple players, and how many games have been missed already. I believe the number is around 112 or 113 man games missed already from the number of guys that have been out so far this year. So
Najee hasn't been the same since whatever that was.
Whatever plague was plaguing him.
Something happened to that guy because Jesus.
And it wasn't Monstar zapping his, basketball talents out of him. Is
it
possible that Najee was playing a little bit above his head?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
He hadn't even peaked yet, Tim. You watch your mouth.
He was averaging 20 points for like multiple weeks.
All right,
but
so
truly, he was going to be a 30-point scorer for this team.
I agree with you.
I know. That's why I said it.
I'm thinking about, speaking of Denver, the Denver game where he had the 26 points that night, where he was spectacular in that game. I feel like that might have been the best game he's played so far this year. But yeah, there's a lot of things from this entire season that I think that's piled upon each other, that, again, when you get one guy back, another guy goes down, and you have the poor effort and execution at times in this game after you blew what was a 19-point lead. It's just a big snowball right now that continues to pile on itself, that it doesn't feel like it's ending anytime soon, even with one of your guys coming back, because, Tim, tomorrow they got to prepare to take on a Pelicans team that's playing a little bit better, and that'll be on the second night of a back-to-back when they take on Zion Williamson and the Pelicans tomorrow night.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It's a tough spot to be in when you have a team that relies on, a mega a superstar in Luka, who he misses some time. He's missed some time, most of his past 4 seasons. He's always out for a little bit. This is the most significant injury he's had. But Kyrie Irving is 32, and he's also been a player who's missed some time throughout his career. Dereck Lively, as I said, is a young, tall center who is probably gonna find himself in some situations where he's injured and is going to miss a few games. You can't really account for a flu running through the whole team, but if it makes you feel any better, it is apparently running through the entire NBA. So Dallas got it out of the way early. Beyond that, Dante Exum broke his wrist, so it's just a tough situation. I don't know how much more to say, but if the core of this team is built around players who have missed time here and there throughout their career, then you can expect that's probably going to be the case as well. Would you change the makeup of this team? Like do you not, are you gonna blow it up because Luka and Kyrie and Dereck Lively missed some time in the regular season? Ideally, you get just players who play every single game, but it's not that easy to build teams. So this is the team Dallas has, and I think you just have to survive it right now.
Tim, as always, we appreciate your reporting, sir, live from the American Airlines Center. Get some rest because we got to do it again tomorrow as the Mavericks take on the Pelicans. Less than 24 hours from now, man. So we appreciate the time as always.
And real quick, Oscar, yes, Lively was injured in his college career, but again, the same points, in my opinion, apply there. And again, if you look, is he trending upwards in terms of how many games he's missing? He's playing far more over his past 52 or so, 54. He's only missed 9 of his last 54 than he did his rookie season where he only played 54 games. So, I mean, yes, it's been a bit of an issue for him, but all you can do is kind of assess it and think that it's trending up. And if it continues to be an issue, we can have this conversation again. But I want to give it until he's in the league for at least 3 seasons before it becomes like a red flag for me. Anyway, just was going to add that. Bobby, Kevin, lovely to see y'all. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Appreciate you, man. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, Tim.
That's our Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato reporting live from the American Airlines Center after the Mavericks fall 118-99 to the Denver Nuggets. Coming up next here on the DLS Mavs postgame show, we'll be joined by our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, live from the AAC as well to get his thoughts and perspective on tonight's game as the Mavericks prepare to take on the Pelicans tomorrow night. All that and more coming up next here on the DLS Mavs postgame show.
But first, the Brady Bunch once sang, I think I'll go for a walk outside now. Summer sun's calling my name. I hear you now.
It's a great television
I just
show.
can't stay inside all day. I got to get out and something. I forget how the line finishes. Well, it's not summer yet.
Marsha.
But it will be soon, and it is still sunny, and you can prepare to handle the sun with our friends at Shady Rays, where they've got you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. More than 300,000 people have rated these things 5 stars. They got hundreds of options to choose from, maybe even in your favorite or least favorite team's colors. If you ever lose them, if you're like me, if you're clumsy, if you break them, hey, don't worry. They're backed by lost and stolen replacement. And also, you can return them within 30 days worry-free if you just don't like them. But I got a pair. I love them. I wear them all the time. Exclusively, for our listeners, Shady Rays will give you a promo code DLLS to save 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. ShadyRays.com.
It's game time here on the DLS Mavs post-game show. If you love going to concerts, basketball games, football games, all kinds of events, you got to use Game Time to get your tickets. Game Time picks filters out the fluff to show you the incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. I'm going to Monday Night Raw at the American Airlines Center on January 20th, this upcoming Monday. So I'm not going to watch the national title game because I'm going to be at the AAC with my kid watching the best WWE superstars perform in front of a live audience. Game Time was able to help me find my tickets, panoramic seat views, all in prices. I knew exactly what I was going to pay before I purchased my ticket, so I wasn't surprised with any hidden fees by the time I got to checkout. So if you want to take the guesswork out of buying your tickets with Game Time, you got to do it with the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DLLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guarantee. What time is it?
Game Time.
Game Time. Who? Let's welcome in our national NBA insider. You can find him on X at the Stein line, where you can always dial up the Stein line for our guy, Marc Stein. Marc, what's going on?
Gents, how we holding up?
As you were coming on, Bobby started reminiscing about the show, The Brady Bunch. It started making me think of my favorite.
Well, that song was from the movie.
Okay.
But still,
it started making me think of my favorite 80s TV shows, and I was a big Wonder Years fan. So my first question to you is, what was your favorite 80s or 90s television show? Because who cares about this game tonight? Because it was atrocious.
Well, I'm older than you guys, so I would say what were my favorite 70s and 80s shows.
Okay.
Appropriate question. There was an amazing show ahead of its time. you got to remember in the late 70s, early 80s, there was not a lot of NBA basketball on TV. And if you are, for anyone who is not familiar with The White Shadow and loves basketball, that is a show you need to look up. Check it out on YouTube. It was an incredible show about a fictional Chicago Bull, Kenny Reeves, who ends up coaching high school basketball in Los Angeles. And the show was ahead of its time. And it was a basketball drama. And like I said, this was a time where there wasn't tons of hoops on TV. So as a kid, that show was life-changing. I mean, just hearing the theme song and I still get emotional. So
it looks
that's
interesting. I just read. I'm looking at the Wikipedia article right now. It looks really interesting.
Kay Gray surprised me a couple weeks ago with his intimate knowledge of Sanford and Son. So maybe Kay Gray.
Yeah, I love Sanford. That's a great show, man. Love that show. I was also a Happy Days kid as well.
That's what I'm saying. You liked shows from the 70s. You liked the shows from my childhood, and I'm much older than you. So are you aware of The White Shadow?
I am not. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm intrigued now. I'm intrigued now. So
just watch the theme song, and you will be hooked.
Okay. Dean Yamarillo says that he loved White Shadow. That was one of his favorite shows. Ardell chimes in with the 18. Were you an 18 person?
I was not an 18 person. Guys, come in. It's your room. Don't worry about it.
Is it someone that we like, or is it someone that we don't like, Mark?
Say it again.
Do we like this person, or do we not like this person? We like them.
In fact, there are lots of people in the Nuggets traveling party who I like.
Speak for yourself. All right.
Oh,
that's definitely an I statement, not a we statement. Because we don't like any of them, but we have good news for you, Mark.
Oh, we do have good news for you.
We have some good news for you.
Oh, you gonna?
So yeah. So for those who have been astute viewers for a while and have been tuning in to all of our pre and post here on YouTube, Mark has alluded a couple different times to Santa Stein sending some stuff to the DLS Sports Studio, and this was right before New Year. We got a package in the mail. Now, it took a little coordination because there's a lot of stuff going on in this office, and we can't be making too much banging around noise during broadcast time. But over the last couple days, Tanner and I have gotten our construction on, and we've been hammering and screwing and power drilling and building.
What?
And,
pause.
Making screw driving. And
go ahead.
And anyway, I mean, I was gonna say we have pictures of what we've been up to, but
I don't know if we need those.
Do you want to see them now, or?
Can we get this show back on the rails? What you're trying to say
all right. So here's what Santa Stein brought down the chimney. All right.
Hey! Look at there.
This is a fully functional DLLS Sports branded Pop-A-Shot machine. It is electronic. It makes sounds when the ball goes through the net. It keeps score. It does all the things. It's got all the game modes. Mark, I want you to be able to take it from here because you were the one that kind of made this all happen.
No, I am just glad. I mean, we always talk about my one-of-one Insider Edition DLS hat. That is a true one-of-one right there. A DLLS branded double hoop Pop-A-Shot scoreboard, fully loaded electronics, logos of all our shows on the side panels. Cannot wait to see that thing in person tomorrow. I am glad that you guys finally handled the assembly portion. Santa Stein, I think, did his part by getting that thing delivered. I am glad that it is now fully assembled and cannot wait to see what kind of office mayhem ensues once competition begins.
Oh, we're ready to rock and roll. I'm bringing in my air pump tomorrow morning. There's one ball that's already pumped up, but I think it came with like 10 balls. So we're gonna have quite a good time.
Comes with 7 and a pump.
7 and a pump? Only 7? I could have sworn
Yeah.
there's more. There's more.
It's 7.
Okay. All right. Well, then competition is even more fierce. Resources are scarce. All right. But
much like the Mavericks jump shot tonight.
Yeah, they might need more than 7 to knock down a few. But that it's awesome, man. It looks great.
No, it looks fantastic.
And shout out to our friends at Papa Shop for making that happen too.
Yeah, that is really cool.
They are wonderful, kind-hearted, and we're going to have a lot of fun with that game. Something tells me between now and March especially.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to you, Sarah. I'm sure we will have some live competition at some point that will be part of our social media that will be here on DLS, I'm sure, at some point.
I need like a month to practice, all right? Because I don't play to lose.
You are kind of really competitive. Like, I've learned that about you, whether it's chess, Pokemon, like you're hyper competitive.
It's good that you built that for this show in particular, because I noticed we've now been talking for about 10 minutes and have pretty much not talked about the game for 1 second.
Yeah, what else do you want to talk about?
I'm about to say, what else from that ass whooping we want to talk about? Because that's what it was. Like, Jamal Murray went back to bubble Jamal Murray tonight with the 32 in the first half, 45 for the game. Nikola Jokic, ho-hum, what's new? There was some history made tonight. So Jokic gets his 146th triple-double in just his 709th game of his career. In fact, he became the fastest, I forget these specific numbers, but he passed a mark by Larry Bird that quicker than he did. It was like 15,000 points, something thousand, rebounds, something thousands, assists, something goofy that Nikola Jokic did tonight, because that's just the kind of player that he was. So there was some history made tonight.
My expert analysis is that these last 2 games, these last 72 hours, a very bad time to run into the Denver Nuggets, who are absolutely rolling. This putting Westbrook in the starting lineup has done wonders for them, and it's freed up Jamal Murray. We saw it in the fourth quarter on Sunday. We saw it in the first half. I mean, it's the best Murray has looked all season. And earlier today, I published power rankings on my Substack, more than 4,000 words worth. And even before this game, I decided, the Nuggets are back in the top 5. That's where they belong.
Ooh.
They're playing at right now, and they're pretty much back on a 50-win pace, which puts new life into Jokic's MVP campaign. And so, we could go on and on and on, but this is DLLS and not DNVR, so we will let our friends in the Rockies do most of that talking. But this, with the Mavs in the health situation they're in right now, this was a very inopportune time to see a Nuggets team that's absolutely rolling. And they were, a month ago, they were contemplating, do we break this thing up? Do we dare try to trade Michael Porter Jr.? And now the biggest problem in Denver is who leaves the starting lineup when Aaron Gordon's ready to come back? Is it Westbrook or Christian Brown? That's the big problem now for the Nuggets. So they are rolling, and I know you guys don't really want to talk about this.
I mean, we made the point earlier, and I think Bobby had made the point a couple weeks ago. It's not about which team you're playing; it's about when you're playing them. And the Mavericks, to your point, has caught some of these teams at just the absolute worst time, with superstars being injured. Even when they come back, other guys go down, like tonight with Dereck Lively, going down just 4 minutes into the game. And, oh, by the way, you're going to be on the second night of a back-to-back tomorrow in less than 24 hours to play against a Pelicans team that's playing a little bit better as of late as well. And then, oh, by the way, you're going to see the Oklahoma City Thunder 2 times in a matter of 6 days coming up here as well. So the timing in all of this is just kind of snowballed in the way that, unfortunately, it's panning out for Dallas right now.
Yeah, look, we'll see how the Pelicans handle that home date. They had to play Chicago tonight. And so, Zion Williamson is just back. We'll see, is he ready for back-to-back duty? Will the Pelicans have a full complement of players? What does Najee Marshall have in store for his return to New Orleans. The knife will be back in New Orleans. So, I mean, they got Kyrie Irving back, but, Lively, and that was, just awful, stepping on another player's foot, just a hard luck ankle twist that, I heard you guys talking all about Lively's durability. I mean, that really wasn't a durability issue. That was anybody steps on anybody's foot, they're at risk for coming away with a pretty bad ankle injury. So it's just one injury after another for the Mavericks. And yeah, I mean, this month, we've said it a billion times already, and we're just going to keep saying it. Any win they can scratch out with the team in its current state is a tremendous win. I mean, before the first Denver game, somebody on staff I was talking to, and they made the case to me that those wins over the Lakers and the Blazers were the 2 wins of the season. And I have to say, I really wasn't looking at it that way, but you can see why within the team they're looking at it that way, because any game you win without Luka and Kyrie is a blessing. They've got Kyrie back now. Let's see if they can get him going. Let's see if this was kind of the rust-shedding game, and will he look more like Kyrie Irving tomorrow, assuming he's ready to go in a back-to-back capacity. So, yeah, the January, it's the longest month of the season in terms of how many games are on the schedule, but it really is going to feel like the longest month on the NBA calendar for these Mavs, no question.
It's still only January 14th.
Yeah.
We will get there, though.
Yeah, we will get there. It's not even halfway to January, but these feels like the dog days of summer, kind of like how baseball it is. When you get to certain points of the year, this feels like the dog days of the NBA right now, because my gosh, we are not to mid-January, and it feels like we've been here for 2 years already. So we appreciate your time as always, Mark. We will see you tomorrow evening, and you will have the shirt. You'll get the first shot of the pop shot.
We'll be together in there, and we can commiserate as a quartet.
Or maybe celebrate. Hopium.
Maybe. Appreciate you, Mark. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, guys. Be good. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Mark.
There you go. That's our National NBA insider, Marc Stein, going to join us here on the Dallas Mavericks postgame show. Hanging with Mr. Cooper is a dope show. Shout out to you.
Never seen that one.
You've never seen Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
Nope.
Oh, we're going to talk about that after the break. When we come back, we're going to talk about our favorite shows from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. Why Bobby hasn't seen Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Shame on you.
What the hell?
Yeah, shame on you.
I've just been living my life.
It's a great 90s television show. We'll talk about all that and more coming up next on the Dlls Mavs postgame show.
But first, y'all know the drill. Players said stuff after this game. Opinions were had. Analysis must be given, and the best place to do that is to go to alldls.com. That's where Tim Cato posts all of his postgame articles, features, analysis, opinions, columns, and so much more. But it's not just on Mavs. It's also on Cowboys. It's also on Stars. It's also on Rangers. Hey, the Stars are at least playing great right now. Rangers getting ready to go to spring training. That's happening pretty quick before you know it. Mm-hmm. And the Dallas Cowboys may or may not have a head coach before the combine happens. Who knows? So to find the best coverage in town, and I mean this, the best, most consistent coverage in town of your favorite teams, go to alldls.com. You can scan the QR code beneath me. Click the link in the description below. Go to alldls.com/diehard to become a diehard, where for less than $7 a month, you can gain access to all of that written content. You get a free shirt when you sign up of your choice. We got more than 35 to choose from. And we also got a new Kyrie shirt. I don't know if it's live in the shop now or if it's going to be live tomorrow morning. I don't actually know how that works because we haven't unveiled a new Mav shirt in a while. But there is a Kyrie shirt that will be in the shop. If not already, then very, very soon. And when you become a diehard, hey, if they don't have a shirt you want right now, you can get a shirt later. You can also get a discount on any other stuff that you'd want to purchase. And you get to join the DLS Discord server, and you get the physical diehard card, and
all the bennies.
All the bennies.
That's right.
And I want to give a shout out to Michael and to Jordan, who became diehards earlier today. Jordan actually, I don't know if Jordan is a Mavs fan, but Jordan became a diehard around halftime of this Mavs game. So I'm just going to chalk Jordan up as not a Mavs fan. Or maybe, you know what?
Maybe, why not?
Maybe just needed an escape from the carnage. Wanted to go to alldls.com. But let us be your escape to Just Positive Vibes channel and Discord will take care of that for you. So shout out to all of y'all that are still hanging out with us at this late hour.
Join the over 13,000 folks who have subscribed to the channel as well by commenting, and subscribing to DLL Sports. Become part of our DLL Sports family as well. What's up, Tanner?
So before we do TV shows, Tim has requested to come back on. So
Oh.
Hi,
Hello.
Tim.
Hello. How are you guys?
You're messing up the bit here. Like if we signed off from you, what else?
We're going for 2 hours tonight.
Relax. We are not.
Okay, but we just talked to Kyrie Irving. Would you like to know what?
Just now?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. He takes a second to talk, and so I wasn't sure if we were going to get him or how the timing was going to work out. But
okay.
But yeah. So Kyrie said he plans to play tomorrow. He said that this is a serious injury that he's going to have to be really diligent and cautious about the rest of the season. But he said it was not a, quote, major concern in the locker room and the coaching staff. So that is better news than, I guess, otherwise. It was very notable that he described it as a bulging disc, which is different than what the Mavericks have put on the medical report, on the injury designation for him, which
a lumbar sprain.
I have heard that lumbar sprain. That I do think it's telling, and I do think that him and his camp are describing it this way. But yeah, he said he had to sit down to put on and tie his shoes for a lot of the past 2 weeks. That he just kind of rolled out of bed today and decided he was going to play in this game. But he said he felt good today. Obviously had been on the court a little bit leading up to this. And again, did say he planned to play tomorrow. We'll see. He has said before, it's not 1-to-1 when he says for sure he's going to play the next game and actually does. But for him to say that, minutes before he goes, to get on the plane to fly to New Orleans, it's at least notable. And yeah, that's the rundown of what was shared tonight.
There's quite a bit to unpack there. Number one, he just rolled out of bed and felt like he was good to go with the back.
That's not how it worked. That's
I know. Obviously, I know that.
What he said, I would agree. That's probably, as somebody who has, occasionally had a lower back thing or two, and very much can relate to the idea that sometimes you just can't bend all the way down, like the sitting down to put on shoes. I do remember, having a bit of that, but it's But yeah, this is I think my takeaway. I think that's where I should go with this. My takeaway from this is that I do think this is not the last we've heard of this. That's my takeaway.
If it's a bulging disc, there's one way to fix a bulging disc,
and that's to sit your ass down.
No, it's maybe even a little further than that.
For sure, but at minimum,
he said in everybody that he's talked to,
OR.
Yeah.
He said in everybody that he's talked to, all the medical people, his is not serious enough that he needs surgery. But
so he's going to play pro basketball on it for the next 4 to 6 months. Like, sure.
Yeah, like this is again
Okay.
as we're unpacking this here.
What could possibly go wrong here?
Yeah, this is so. And correct me if I'm wrong. This is a pain tolerance thing. Like he's going to have to manage this day to day, and depending on the pain or how he's feeling will determine his availability going forward here.
He didn't say that, and I'm not sure it's pain tolerance like in the midst of a game. But I think you're more right about the pain that comes from everything that accompanies an NBA game, and or specifically like the aftermath of that and the day after. So it's not something that is over. And by his words, this is something I have heard. It's not as simple as a lumbar strain, perhaps.
Okay. Well, that is something that we will continue to monitor over the coming days and weeks, starting tomorrow.
You like any old shows?
Yeah. What's your favorite 80s or 90s show?
Star Trek.
Really?
That counts.
Okay.
That definitely counts. It's a great show.
I don't think I was expecting him to say Star Trek, actually.
Yeah.
Were you a TGIF kid? Were you a Full House?
Yeah.
You okay? All right.
No,
Oh no, you weren't a Full House
not
kid.
Full House.
Boy
No, it
Meets
wasn't
World.
Full House. No,
Ooh, good show.
no.
Okay.
I was a little young for that.
Lizzie McGuire.
No,
Oh, you weren't a Disney Channel kid at all either.
no, I was.
What'd you watch?
So what'd you watch?
I'm
Yeah,
younger
stop
than
just
y'all.
saying
Yeah,
no.
exactly. Yeah.
Give us
What
some
is-
answers.
Give us something.
What were the shows back then? Hannah Montana, Wizards of Waverly Place. A
He
few
young
more
like
in
that
that
for real?
genre. Those are the
Yeah,
ones
that's,
that like.
that's even younger than me. I missed that generation.
Yeah.
Oh,
And like
wow.
I'm not like I don't think I was like in the fandom of them, but as a kid in that era, you watch those shows, you end up seeing some of those shows. That is an inevitable thing to happen. There's a few more that are not coming to mind right now, but was Phineas and Ferb around that? Although I didn't really watch a lot of Phineas and Ferb, but I think that
I
was
don't even
around
know
my
what most of these
generation.
things are.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the show Hanging with Mr. Cooper?
No.
Get out.
Me neither.
Bye, Tim.
Okay, guys.
Bye.
I popped in for the injury update. I'll let you talk your.
No, thank you for that.
No, thank
that,
you for that.
was good.
No, that was great. We really appreciate
That
you
was good.
coming back in and telling us that. We appreciate
Thanks,
that.
dude.
And we'll talk to you again tomorrow. That's Tim Cato.
Sarah says Pete and Pete. Pete and Pete was a good one.
Pete and Pete.
Fresh
Yeah.
Prince, El Patel and Ardell both said Fresh Prince. Fresh Prince, great show.
Goated.
That is quality television.
Goated.
But
But you haven't seen Hanging with Mr. Cooper? That's around that time in the early 90s.
So
early to mid 90s.
I was raised watching shows from like the 70s. So I watched like All in the Family.
Okay.
I watched the Brady Bunch. I watched the Jeffersons.
You were
I watched,
Married with Children
the Sonny
person?
and Cher show, the Flip Wilson variety show, like stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
That was on like Nick at Night.
Yeah, I'm a Nick at Night kid. Yeah.
And then like there was another one on like ABC Family, like after like Whose Line Is It Anyway came on, there was another one of those like throwback runs where it was just, I guess throwback, it's like 15, 20-year-old
Were you a
TV
step-by-step
in those days.
kid?
Don't know what that is.
You know, oh my gosh. Tanner, do you know what these shows are? Step by Step, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, Full House, Family
Hanging with
Matters.
Mr. Cooper, no. Yeah, all the others, yeah.
I know Full House.
Yeah. And Step by Step, yeah.
And you don't know these other ones.
No, I mean I
Oh
do
my
know Full
gosh.
House. I know back to like I Dream of Jeannie. I watched like a lot of like classic stuff,
Mhm.
and then I watched a lot of Nickelodeon starting in like 94, 95. So like Clarissa Explains It All
that.
that. Keenan and Kel.
Oh, goated.
The Amanda Bynes show, stuff like that. And then I switched to
Oof.
Disney Channel. So, but then also on Nick, like Hey Arnold, stuff like that.
Hey, Arnold!
And then I moved
Great
to
show.
Disney Channel. So like Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens, Proud Family, Kim Possible. That was like the
Mhm.
rundown in some order. And then
Kim Possible.
and then I
goated.
started watching a lot of sports, ESPN, stuff like that.
Ardell, I want to acknowledge you because I saw what you were saying earlier about Boy Meets World. We were all Topanga fans, for sure.
I loved Boy Meets World. That was a great show.
Topanga, did you know Topanga actually, Danielle Fischel is a real name, obviously. A big wrestling fan, massive wrestling fan.
Oh, nice.
Is Topanga. So,
Nice.
yeah, Topanga will forever be goated.
I was too young for Saved by the Bell, and
Oh,
my
another great one.
parents wouldn't let me watch The Simpsons. So I was not a Simpsons kid.
Yeah, The Simpsons, I mean, you got to be of a particular,
Yeah, I missed
Yeah.
Saved by the Bell because I was born in '91. So by the time I was like
Mm.
old enough to kind of like selectively watch TV, Saved by the Bell was already over.
It's over for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it was like I was off the air, I think, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm definitely a TGIF kid. Boy Meets World, Family Matters, Full House.
What is Family Matters?
You never heard of Steve Urkel?
Oh, that
Come
show.
on.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, man.
Okay.
Come on, man.
What's the show with Gary Coleman? Because I know that show.
Arnold? Help me out.
He's like, "What you talking about, Willis?"
But yeah, that's the line. Yeah. Well, I don't know why the name is escaping me right now.
1984. No, that's a book. That's not. That's not the Gary Coleman family comedy show.
Yeah, some of the other ones though, but y'all know these shows that are in there. But yeah, man, we gotta get you up on some of these shows because you're missing.
No, we don't
out.
have to.
No, really, we do because you would enjoy a lot of them.
Dude, I'm so far behind. I watched like the first 4 episodes of Breaking Bad. I was like, I love this show, and I never watched another second of it. I'm terrible at watching TV.
Different strokes. Thank you, Ardell. Different
strokes. Okay.
Different strokes.
Shows that I love.
Different strokes.
I don't watch. Like The Sex Lives of College Girls season 3 has been out for like months now, and I have not tuned in. It's a great show. It's on Max. HBO Max is now Max.
That's right.
So it's on Max.
Yeah.
The Sex Lives of College Girls. Great show.
Who's in that?
Honestly, I have no idea. But
You sound like my wife.
They're very
just
talented.
texted me different strokes too. So
Thank you.
He's
Shout
still
out to you.
listening. He's still
Different. That's Gary Coleman. That's right. Yes.
Gary Coleman. That's what I said, right?
Yeah, you did. You did say that.
Okay. I didn't want to get his name wrong.
You weren't a Home Improvement guy?
I have seen episodes of it. It wasn't like destination TV for my household. But that was like Tool Time, right? And the dude at the fence, you can't see his face. He's like this.
Yeah. That's what you just. Oh, Mark is really texting us like the names of these shows. Is he still watching? Is that what he's doing? Okay.
I mean, let's be honest. I spent most of my time as a kid watching like Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z, all of Toonami, Zoids, Dragon Ball, stuff like that, into Yu-Gi-Oh! All while I'm watching like kids programming. I'm also watching like I don't know if you consider that anime, but that sort of stuff too.
My favorite all-time show, though, I love The Wonder Years. Oh, that's such a... What would you do when I say how to tune?
Is that... Who sings
Would you
that?
stand up and walk out on
I know that's a
me?
Beatles song, but who sings that
Lend
one?
me your ears and I'll sing you a song.
Joe Cocker.
A little help from my friends. A little help. That's such a great show. Oh my god,
That was a good show.
that's so good.
I tried to do the
Speaking
eyebrow
of
thing. I can never get
Boy
the
Meets
eyebrow.
World, the Savage family, Ben Savage and Fred
Ben
Savage.
and Fred, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great show, man. Oh,
Yeah.
so good, so good.
That was
Thank you,
them.
Ardell.
You know, I took acting lessons when I was a kid. A lot of the kids on the Disney Channel that Tim was watching growing up
Yeah.
were rep by the same agent as I was. Divergent paths, I would say. Many of them became famous.
You could have been like a star in Hollywood, and we don't
like
know it.
Demi Lovato, Selena Gomez, some other person that I haven't really heard of, or that I don't really know. There was like 5 or 6 that were rep by my same agent when I was a kid.
Wow.
I wasn't a good actor. I'm terrible at acting.
Oh well.
I can barely even maintain character on this show, let alone like.
You're a ball knower, though. That's all that matters. You're a ball knower.
Not if you ask the Sleeper app.
You've been 0-4 the last few days here.
3-game losing streak, but we bounce back. We fight on.
We fight on.
Tomorrow's a new day. Oh my God, it's already today.
It is already today.
There's a game in 19 hours.
Sarah, Ardell, shout out to you. Luke, shout out to y'all. Wonder Years is a great show. If you ever need to do yourself a favor, and watch The Wonder Years.
Somewhere out there is I don't have a reel, but somewhere out there is a sketch of me and Cody Lindley doing a scene from Stand By Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You have
Yeah.
to find that and show that to us.
No, I couldn't find it if you paid me, because it was done by my acting teacher.
Okay.
And back in those days, it was like a digital camera, dude. It was like with a memory card of like 5 KB.
Do you hear how
got
you
to
sound
do it.
right now?
You got to delete
It's
it.
2025. That's crazy.
But digital cameras are back.
They are.
They're back in a big way. All right.
Hopefully they can shoot better than what the Mavericks did tonight. And we will find out later on today.
I wasn't Mavrello.
I miss Mavrello. Funny looking little thing. Miss him. Tanner's like, we got to go. We really appreciate all of you having joined us here on our program. We will be back later on today because the Mavericks are on the second night of a back-to-back. I'm sure they're about to get into the air right now to go fly to New Orleans. Our pregame show will begin at 6:30 p.m., tip-off at 7 p.m. tomorrow as the Mavericks take on the New Orleans Pelicans. Again, pregame show begins at 6:30 p.m. right here on DLS Sports. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the way out the door. We was able to have some fun after the Mavericks got clobbered tonight by the Denver Nuggets. Hopefully, it'll be better times tomorrow, and we will see.
Well, we're having fun tomorrow no matter what.
No matter what.
'Cause we got a lot of stuff we can still talk about.
Mark's going to take the first shot on the Papa Shot. We're going to let him do that. For sure. We'll record that and let you guys see that as well. So for our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, our Mavericks beat writer, Tim Cato, that's our Mavericks analyst, Bobby Curl. I am your host, Kevin Gray. Unfortunately, the Mavericks
That's
fall 1.
Tanner off screen.
Tanner making us look good, sound good.
Thanks for finishing that Papa shot, pal. And I'm sorry for using compromising language when describing the hard work we put in.
We're gonna have to clip around that when we clip that for Papa Shot, probably.
Right.
Yeah, Papa shot will not be happy with that messaging.
We'll talk to you
right.
later on today, right here on DLS Sports. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.